weekend and bring in Coach Tim Watson from Cedar Creek. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Sully. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? We won't keep you too long. I know you got some stuff to do today, but just want to catch up with you real quick about last weekend, and it's still got to feel like kind of a surreal moment the way you guys came back and beat West Deptford 28-27, scoring a touchdown with a little bit more than a minute to go. Tell me about what this week has been like for yourself and the kids, in school and walking around as a state champion. It's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely still surreal. I mean, there's probably a few times where we kind of pinched ourselves, especially the way that it all went down. The kids are still kind of walking with a little bounce in their step. All the staff is really excited about everybody coming up and congratulating us all week. So it's been great, man. It's just awesome for the school. There was a parade that afternoon at about 2:45, and the mayor, who's a huge supporter of our program, did an all-call to the city, and there was just everybody lined up on Philly Ave, and people came out of their houses. It was a really, really cool thing to see that community so excited about it. So we're happy we could do that.
Now, I know you and I were talking this week, and you were telling me about a boy named Colt Bonsall, one of your favorite guys who's been sort of a role player and a senior and just been working his tail off to be a part of this team. And I thought it was really cool how you said he the whole way home on the bus, he didn't take his uniform off, didn't even take his helmet off because he knew that was going to be the last time he was going to be wearing the Cedar Creek uniform and just wanted to savor that experience. As a coach, that's got to be a cool thing to have so many guys like that, like you and I talked about. It takes more than a Bo Melton and Amir Mitchell to win a state championship, and so many of these guys who a lot of people don't know about really made huge contributions this season for you.
Yeah, I think anybody that's now I've been fortunate to be on some pretty successful college teams. I was a part of Coach Coleman's staff that went to a couple championships, won one at Apsigami in the mid-2000s, and now I've been a part of winning one as a head coach. You know the backstories, all the little things that it took to get there. On the surface, a lot of the public, they see Bo and they see Amir, they see some of our skill guys, and immediately that's what people might think is what got it done. But if you were a part of this program and guys like Colt that were part of it for 4 years, it's a lot more than that. Sort of the challenges and obstacles we went through this season to make that happen. So the guys that are in that room, the guys that are a part of it, they can really celebrate in that, and it's an awesome thing. And guys like Colt really embody the type of character that we want our kids to have. They work hard and keep just getting after it every day, even if it's not working out in terms of playing time the best that they would want. They don't quit, and that's refreshing today because a lot of kids, if they're not the stars their sophomore year, their junior year, they're not the starters, they pack it in. But we have several kids that didn't, and they ended up being contributors to our team.
Talking with head coach Tim Watson of the Cedar Creek football team last weekend. They came from behind to beat West Deptford 28-27. Coach, talk about that game a little bit and what a tough team West Deptford is. That offense they run is so tough. I mean, they got a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback, and their backup running back, Gio Gismondi, had over 900 yards this year and it really gave you guys fits. How tough was it to coach against that team?
Yeah, well, number one, that's what makes this thing so sweet too. We got so much respect for Coach Folsom. That's a great program, one of the best public schools in the state, like bar none. He's a plus 200 win coach. They run the wing T and they run it like a machine. It's super efficient, and the problem is you just can't simulate it. When you don't run it, you can't simulate the quickness. So what happens is it usually we knew they were going to have some success. We knew we would end up settling into our fits, kind of seeing things a little bit better as the first quarter wore on the second quarter. And the problem was we were holding them on a few drives, but then they would have like third and short or fourth and short, and they were able to convert. But we felt like we could get it done. We touched the ball 11 times in the first half offensively. And, of course, one of those was Bo's awesome run that he had on that draw play. So we kind of knew that even watching them on film, the same mismatch that we have, they have. They don't see a ton of spread teams. They certainly don't see an assortment of skill guys like we have. So once we were able to kind of hold the ball a little bit more with some of those possessions in the second half, we felt like our defense was settled down enough to give us a chance to make some plays, and they did. And it was so much credit for our boys for being resilient and just positive with their attitudes and continuing to fight despite what the scoreboard said. And it ended up being just a pretty magical day.
It was kind of funny. I was standing on the sidelines during that game, and when West Deptford went ahead 27-21, there was about, I think, 3:39 left on the clock, and I was thinking to myself, man, Cedar Creek's going to win this. They left too much time on the board, and because I've been watching you guys all year, and I know how quickly you can go down the field and score. You know, you had to think Bo was going to make some plays, and then all of a sudden the biggest play comes from Malachi Timberlake, and that's kind of been your signature all year. Bo makes enough plays to get you in position, and then somebody else steps up, and that's all sort of that competition, right, among these guys. They all want to be the best and do the kind of things that Amir and Bo have been doing all year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Malachi's been chomping at the bit to contribute offensively for a while now. And it got to the point where, honestly, he was getting frustrated. But, I think during the last couple of weeks of the season, he sort of dialed it in and locked it back into the team. And how fitting is it and that's just one of the backstories. It's just fitting that he ended up being somebody that made a big play for us at the end. But, yeah, we knew, even if we were just going to dink and dunk, I was the same with you, Sully. I'm usually not like this on the sidelines, but I remember saying to myself, Pat Moran's he's going to kick the extra point and win us this game, because even if we had drags and we had some of the short stuff all day, that they were the way they were playing, and I knew they weren't going to change their coverage in the last 2 minutes of the game. So even without the big play, we felt like we would be able to move the ball. With Jesse's been very efficient throwing the ball, and our guys have been catching the ball. So big plays usually do end up happening with the guys we have, but we were confident going into that last drive that something was going to happen. It just so happened to be Malachi making a great play, and it was just very exciting. So proud of him, and proud of those guys for being able to execute, which isn't easy at the high school level, to execute a 2-minute drive, but they did it.
I think one of the coolest things that you and I spoke about during the week also was what a win like this does for guys like Colton and guys like James Geisel, probably not going to play on the next level, so their football careers are most likely over. But just in terms of the confidence it builds in them as young men to be able to say, hey, I went out and I helped the team win a championship, how far does that go in a young man's life to be able to say, hey, I was a part of this and I helped this team win a championship, and years down the road that's going to come in handy when they get faced with tough life situations?
Sure. Everything about that and the way they battled back. Yeah. That's ultimately what this stuff's about. And if you're not in it for that, then you're missing out. The X's and O's are awesome. To me, that's like icing on the cake. But if these guys can get some of these lessons that this sport offers, I just feel like there's a lot of great stuff that every sports offer. I think wrestling individually, it puts you in situations where you have to confront some fears and battle through stuff by yourself. But in terms of a team sport, in terms of forcing guys to come together, and just the grind that you put in throughout the summer and all that stuff, and bouncing back, and having a good attitude, and all the things that encompass a football season are life lessons. And then to be able to come to like a climactic point like we did at the end of the season, where there was ups and downs, and then you end up winning it. It's just something that they'll be able to take with them forever in terms of perseverance, in terms of believing, and that's the beauty of the game. Football is an awesome game, and I'm just fortunate to be able to play a role and facilitating it as a coach, and I'm blessed to do what I do.
Good stuff. I appreciate you hopping on board, Coach, and again, congratulations on the win, and you'll be enjoying that the rest of this winter, I'm sure, and sizing up that ring finger.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Thank you for everything, man. I'm sure everybody tells you guys, Cole, all you guys, 97.3, you guys are awesome with what you do for high school sports in this area. So one last time, just thank you guys.
All right, thanks, Coach. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Appreciate it.
You too.
That was Coach Tim Watson from the Cedar Creek Pirates. They took down West Deptford 28-27 in probably the most exciting game last weekend of high school championship weekend